Maryland bill would limit stream restoration credits. Maryland lawmakers have introduced legislation that would significantly narrow how stream and floodplain restoration projects can be used to satisfy stormwater, permitting, and pollution reduction obligations. Senate Bill 688 proposes new limits on when in-stream construction projects can count toward compliance and mitigation requirements, shifting state priorities toward upland and non-stream disturbing stormwater practices. While the bill does not prohibit stream restoration outright, it redefines how such projects are evaluated, credited, and justified, raising practical questions for local governments, developers, utilities, and infrastructure owners that rely on restoration projects to meet regulatory obligations. Maryland Department of the Environment, MDE. SB 688 would require the Maryland Department of the Environment, MDE, to prioritize stormwater management practices that capture runoff at or near the source and minimize disturbance to existing streams, floodplains, and forests. In practical terms, the bill elevates practices such as bioretention, permeable pavement, green roofs, bioswales, and other upland controls over projects that involve mechanical alteration of stream channels. The legislation also places new restrictions on the use of stream restoration projects to satisfy Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, MS4 permit requirements, total maximum daily load DL obligations, compensatory mitigation requirements. Under the bill, completion of a stream restoration project alone could no longer automatically qualify for pollution reduction or mitigation credit. New limits on in-stream construction. A central feature of SB 688 is its treatment of in-stream construction using heavy equipment. The bill would prohibit the approval of projects that mechanically alter stream dimensions, patterns, or profiles for compliance purposes unless strict conditions are met. Specifically, such projects could only be credited if non-stream disturbing alternatives were evaluated and found infeasible. The project is necessary to address documented public safety or infrastructure challenges. Post-construction monitoring demonstrates measurable functional lift, not just modeled pollution reductions or hydraulic performance. The bill explicitly states that modeled outcomes alone are insufficient. Demonstrated ecological improvement, measured through biological indices or equivalent indicators, would be required. Expanded planning and documentation requirements. SB 688 would also raise the bar for project documentation and review. Stormwater management plans that include stream-related projects would be required to include an alternatives analysis evaluating non-stream disturbing options. Applicants would need to clearly establish project objectives, assess benefits and adverse impacts, and document why less disruptive practices cannot reasonably achieve the same outcomes. The bill also expands expectations around public notification and engagement, requiring documentation that community outreach and presentations are complete and consistent with technical materials submitted to the state. 5-year monitoring and functional lift. For authorized stream and floodplain restoration projects, SB 688 mandates at least 5 years of post-construction monitoring. Monitoring must assess stream stability, floodplain function, and vegetation viability with a clear emphasis on ecological outcomes rather than structural completion. This reflects a broader shift in regulatory thinking. Restoration is no longer defined by construction activity alone, but by sustained, measurable function. Infrastructure and stormwater planning. For infrastructure owners and municipalities, the bill signals a tightening link between stormwater compliance and project selection. Strategies that have historically relied on stream restoration as a flexible compliance pathway may face higher documentation costs, longer timelines, and greater uncertainty around credit eligibility. At the same time, the legislation aligns with growing scrutiny around whether restoration projects deliver durable water quality and ecological benefits, particularly as climate-driven precipitation changes place additional stress on stormwater systems. SB 688 does not change federal stormwater requirements directly, but it would reshape how Maryland entities meet them at the state level. Status and next steps. SB 688 received its first reading on February 6, 2026, and has been assigned to the Education, Energy, and the Environment Committee. If enacted, the bill would take effect October 1, 2026. For organizations with projects in planning or early design stages, the bill underscores the importance of tracking how state level stormwater policy is evolving and how infrastructure compliance strategies may need to adjust accordingly. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment and Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team.